Hi there, this is Nancy Landis Aguirre, and today I'm going to be talking about having forgiveness. And forgiveness is a pretty touchy subject for most of us because it's hard to forgive sometimes, especially if we've been hurt over and over and over for the same thing. So I want to kind of touch bases on a few things, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, what unforgiveness can do to us. And I know that, in the Bible it does talk about 70 times 7, that we're supposed to forgive people every single day, 70 times 7. And if you do the math, that's a lot. And I don't think that we possibly as humans can make mistakes that many times in a day. So, it's constantly having to forgive. And it's a good thing too, because emotionally and physically, if we have unforgiveness, it eats away at us inside our hearts and inside our body physically too. It can really just make us a whole mess. I read a lot about and studied about it too, where it talked about that if we hold that unforgiveness, it turns into bitterness, and it turns into stress and anxiety and frustration. And because of that can cause hypertension. And I've dealt with that just recently. This past year, I dealt with hypertension, and I was just really stressed out and had to be put on medication and just going through a lot, and it's just tough to have to get to that point. And I just learned to let a lot of things go, especially when it comes to family, because your family and your friends, the ones that you think that you need to be, the closest to, they're the ones that usually end up hurting you the most. And it's hard to forgive them and forget too. I mean, our brains are like computers. We can't forget those things. We just have to forgive. And that's what it talks about all the time, that we need to forgive people, because in the future it can cause a lot of frustration and anger and stress and anxiety, and then just eventually physically, like I was saying, it'll put us into a place that we don't want to be. Forgiveness is like a breath of fresh air. It just helps us to breathe again. We're also releasing the other person, and really we are releasing ourselves. If we say sorry to somebody and they don't forgive us, well, we're the ones that have said sorry. So if they don't forgive, then they're the ones that are going to have to deal with the consequences. But if we can forgive, if someone says sorry to us, then we're releasing that as well. We're to be a light in this world, a breath of fresh air to people. You talk about human rights and all those things too, about all the other subjects out there, friendship, human rights that I've seen. A lot of it comes along with having that forgiveness, and we need to make sure that we don't hold on to grudges. This time of year is pretty tough too. We're dealing with it with Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's coming up. We're dealing with a lot, and it's so stressful this time of year. I mean, I'm telling you what, the biggest thing for me is driving in a car and being on the road. And when I drive places, because I'm always on the road going places all the time, I'm just very busy schedule. So I mean, I drive, and I tell you what, I've had to bite my tongue and ask for forgiveness for yelling at people in my car because of the crazy way that they drive. And we just need to, I'm learning to do that as well too. So just having just that forgiveness towards people, again, especially when you're shopping. People do Black Friday shopping. People just get crazy and they forget what this time of year is about. They forget the season. They forget what we're doing. It's about family. It's about time together. So we forget that, and people just keep going on and just with their day, and they just, by the end of the day too, if you think about it, if we haven't forgiven all these crazy people that are out there, we bring that to our household, my kids, my husband, my family. You end up just holding that stress inside and that frustration, and then it just ends up into a big whirlwind fight. It's also been known too that it started wars. It starts wars, and it starts all kinds of stuff. It's just, forgiveness is a very touchy subject. that I'm still working on, and I think I will work on till the day that I die, is to continue to forgive people. And again, the hardest thing too is to forgive somebody that keeps hurting you for the same thing over and over and over again. But I am here to share with you that if you keep doing that and you're just there to support that person and you're there for them, eventually they will turn around and they will come back to you knowing that you have actually forgiven them and that you actually love them. So, you know, forgiveness is a very awesome thing. And we want to be healthy. We want to be a light in this world. We want to be a breath of fresh air. We want to help people. You know, we want to move on and move forward in life and do those incredible things and be there to help people and our own family, being a great mom, being a great wife, being a great friend. And you can't do any of that unless you have forgiveness, because we are human beings, and human beings are going to continually keep making mistakes every single day. At least in my life, in my case. I don't know about yours, but you know, we're all human beings. We screw up all the time. So, you know, just learn to forgive, and learn to forgive yourself too. That's been a hard thing for me as well, is to forgive myself for the things that I've done, because I'm pretty hard on myself. I tend to be that way, and I'm pretty sure most of us do that too, where we make mistakes and we're just weird about that. And so I just hope that I'm able to help you guys, and I hope that everything that I've shared with you, you know, again, learn to forgive yourself, forgive others, and you will live a happy, healthier lifestyle. You really will. All right, thank you guys, and hope this helps, and just learn to forgive. Thank you. Bye.